So a couple of weeks ago, my dear old mother messaged me on WhatsApp with an invitation for this app that I have never heard of, an app called Temu. The message said, if I remember correctly, that if I sign up, she will get either £100 or £200 worth of credit. So I asked her, is this a scam? She assured me that this is safe and that all of her friends do it. So I thought, hey, why not help your dear old mother out, Cameron? Be a good soul. So I signed up to get her the money. Since then, I've been hearing about this a lot more, and I've seen other people on YouTube doing videos about the subject, either saying it's really good or either saying it's a scam. But what we're missing is that middle bit. We're missing what it actually is and whether or not you should be using it. Because surely at this point everything is a little bit of a scam and everything is a little bit good, right? Nothing is all bad and all good. So what I would like to do is present my findings to you so you can decide whether or not you should be using it or not, because that very much comes down to personal preference. So starting out, the first question that you have, that everyone has when they first heard of this, what is Temu? Temu, pronounced T-Mu, is an online marketplace that connects consumers with millions of sellers, manufacturers and brands around the world, with the mission to empower them to live their best lives. Temu is committed to offering the most affordable quality products to enable consumers and sellers to fulfill their dreams in an inclusive environment. And it was founded in Boston in 2022. So what does Temu even mean? Because hey, for the first few weeks I was pronouncing it Temu, and it was only when going on their website and seeing that they've got the pronunciation as Temu that I started saying Temu. But Temu sounds better. So what does it mean? Temu, it means to team up, price down. So that's the official brand meaning, what it is that Temu does and what it is they stand for. But personally, I always find it difficult to understand a brand because you curate a brand in a very specific way. It's almost like 1 year ago when everyone started to shout about environmentalism and every brand under the sun suddenly became sustainable. Yet the CEOs and the people who own those brands were simultaneously getting private jets to meetings and living the most unsustainable lives. So are you just doing that because it's a buzzword? Because the people that are high ranking within the brand don't withhold those kind of morals, you know? So it's very difficult to understand a brand. I always find it better to understand a person. So who or what or whom even owns Temu? My banana lights fell off. So Temu is owned by the multi-international commerce group PDD Holdings, which was founded by Chinese billionaire Colin Huang. It's the sister site of the Chinese e-commerce platform Pinduoduo. Now I'm probably pronouncing that terribly wrong, and I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know the correct pronunciation. Now get this, Pinduoduo was valued at $200 billion, which is roughly $160 billion back in 2021. That's according to the Financial Times. Now in March 2021, the same year it got that valuation, Colin stepped down from his executive roles at Pinduoduo and turned over the voting rights of his 29% stake in the company in order to set up a new business, in order to set up Temu. A little bit more about Colin. In 2020, Colin was briefly ranked as the second richest person in China thanks to the surge in sales at this previous sister site of Temu, Pinduoduo. He started his business career by first getting a master's in computer science from the University of Wisconsin. He then interned at Microsoft in both Beijing and Seattle before starting his career in Google in the US of A in 2004. Now I am telling you, if you're the kind of person that likes investing in the stock market or buying a share here and there, I urge you to invest in this guy because it seems like everything he's done since leaving Google has been a success. He's like a serial business entrepreneur startup. He keeps starting these online businesses and they do really well. Case in point, Temu. Another case in point, Pinduoduo. So if you are looking for a place to invest your money, and hey, this is not financial advice, just an opinion, I would say keep an eye out for whatever this guy does next, because it seems like he gets bored of one thing and he moves on to another. And when that another thing comes up, it's probably going to be making a lot of money, so keep an eye out on that. And now we know what it is, how it started, and what it does, what it means. The big question that you have, which I had and a lot of other people have, is it a scam? Now, like I said, there's a lot of other YouTube videos that cover this specific subject, but I don't think you need an entire video just to do it. The answer is no, not really. I mean, how do you define scam? If you're asking, are the products you're going to get going to be exactly the same as the pictures on the website? Probably not. No, that's probably not an ideal representation. But, and again, when you're getting trainers for about £5, they're probably not going to be the highest quality trainers you've ever seen, right? That's not a scam, that just goes without saying. As far as are you going to put your money in there and they're going to steal it, are they going to steal your bank details? The answer is no, it's not a scam. The products they sell are legit, the company is legit, they are a high standing, high valued company. There's nothing scammy about it. You're going to be absolutely fine. If you want to order something off Temu, you're going to be fine doing so. No, it's not a scam. Unless you're talking about are the products going to be as high quality as they look in the photos, or as maybe some of the reviews are saying. And the answer is no, probably not. But you should really know that if you're buying something that is so cheap. I mean, the only way you can get around, making and selling a product that cheap is if it's made cheaply, right? Otherwise, how would they make money? They just wouldn't. I feel like that goes without saying. But it is an important note to make, because a lot of the people who are doing these is it a scam videos are really focusing on that as it is a scam. But I don't really believe that that is necessarily true. And it's the same with the reviews. A lot of reviews are saying it's a scam because it's not as high quality as they thought it would be, which I just feel like is a bad representation. But it's going to prop up, so keep that in mind. And it perfectly takes us into the next section of this video, which is indeed the reviews. So when it comes to the reviews, I don't think it's a very trustworthy way to see whether or not you should be shopping on the website. And I'll tell you for why. The first thing we usually do when we go to reviews is we go to something like Trustpilot. But they're very suspicious reviews, and even the ones that don't seem suspicious seem just an inaccurate review of the website. The first thing you'll notice if you go to Trustpilot is that there's 44% 5-star reviews and 35% 1-star reviews, which I always, first and foremost, I think Trustpilot is losing what it had in terms of authenticity. It just seems like it's crowded now with a lot of bots and a lot of fake reviews, and a lot of people is going down the path that TripAdvisor went down when people would use it as a way to threaten a brand. So I don't think it's an accurate way to judge a brand or a company. But more to the point, anytime I see this big split where it's majority 5-star and majority 1-star, I always find that suspicious. Because most people, right, we're all indecisive. We don't know where we want to rate something. So normally if we really like something, or especially from me, and I don't know about you, but I'm just going to speak from my perspective. If I do like something, I'll put it out like a 4-star because I think, well, maybe there's room for improvement. Maybe I'm missing something. And if I don't like something, I normally put it out like a 2-star because I think, well, 1-star is saying it's just terrible completely. Maybe I'm missing something once again. And I do feel like maybe most people feel. Let me know how you think about this, how you review products. So anytime the split is majority 1-star and 5-star, I feel like there's some suspicion going on. It seems like maybe someone is buying 5-star reviews and the real reviews are 1-star. So then I go in and I deep dived into this to look at the 5-star reviews. And a lot of them do seem, like I said, suspicious. They're shouting about how great the customer service is, how quick the delivery was. That's staying on the floor now. It's really ruining my flow. It's staying. I tried it. I tried the banana light. I thought it would sign the whole thing. Thought it was a cool idea. It's staying on the floor. The reviews. When I go to the 5-star reviews, they're shouting about how fantastic the company is. But when you look at their usernames, a lot of them, they've only ever reviewed Temu. They've never reviewed anything else, which is also a little bit suspicious that what they loved it so much that they decided to suddenly become a reviewer. Now, I'm not saying they're all like this. There are a few others that actively seem to review other people. I've got one here that gives it a 5-star. It says it's fantastic customer service. All the items were fantastic. They were in fantastic condition and they were happy with everything. It seems like a fake review, but when you go on the username, they have reviewed many other things. 5-star review for this company here, another 5-star review. They've only gave 5-star reviews, but that's okay. Maybe they only review things that they love. Then you look to the 1-star reviews, and it's easy to say the 1-star reviews is what you're going to go off, right? But a lot of those 1-star reviews are giving the company a low rating based on something that's kind of like out the company's service or what they can't do. And I've got a great example of this one here from this person that just goes under the name Guest. 1-star review. I was away for a week. Parcels not where they was left, dumped and in full view. Wouldn't refund, yet I have no goods. Bit more context, I was away for a week. Apparently, dumped the one order split into 2 outside my house in full view for a week. Then wonder why the packages weren't there. Seems like this person's gone away, has made an order, gone away on holiday. The parcels have been delivered outside and someone has stole them. So they're giving the company 1 star for not refunding them. It does also say that they have refunded one of the packages, but they're not refunding the other. And I don't think that warrants a 1 star. That's got now to you deciding to go on holiday after you've ordered something is now to do with them. And the delivery, the courier service, has also nothing to do with them. You can't blame the fact that a delivery man who doesn't work for the company left the parcels outside your house instead of leaving them with a neighbour. You can't say it's their fault because the parcels were left in full view. They don't control the courier service. You've got to take that up with whoever the courier is. And I've looked on the website and it seems in the UK at least it's through Every, which already has a bad reputation, right? But everyone uses them anyway. So you can't blame them for them. Blame Every. You've got to take this up with Every, not them. And why should they really refund you? Because you decided to go on holiday. You know, it just doesn't make much sense to me. But maybe you see it from a different way. I don't think that's anything to do with the company. I don't think the company deserves a 1-star review for that. They also end it with this note that just seems so petty is the word I'm looking for. Petty. It says, I'm taking legal action under the Consumer Rights Act of 2015 and I will win. And I looked at some of this person's other reviews that they've done. Another 1-star review for a company here where they say they got something delivered. One of the parts was a little bit broken or something, so they reached out to the company and they were struggling to get a replacement. So once again, they're taking legal action. I do find it funny that this is like a whole paragraph complaint and the company responded with the receipts with dates where they said, we've been asking, communication cut off, how's that our fault? And again, another one with Wilco where they say their packages was lost and yet again they're taking legal action. And there's so many reviews like this. You've got these kind of people which one could only describe as Karens using Trustpilot as a way to say, I'm unhappy with your company because of some outside factor like the delivery and I'm going to take legal action. I just find it a little bit silly. So whether it's negative or positive, I wouldn't use the reviews as a good indication to whether or not to use Temu. Now they do have reviews on their official website, but once again these seem more fake than they do real. You take these shoes here, you click on that, you've got almost 5,000 reviews, almost 5 stars. Yeah, that doesn't, and it's the same with every other product they do, which doesn't add up when you take account things like Trustpilot. When you mirror those together, why are they getting so many good reviews on their website, but they're not anywhere else? Once again, it seems like there's a lot of fake reviews there. The way that the usernames are, the names, and the way that they're written, they all seem a little bit AI generated. And the bad reviews, it seems like they're not getting through. People are unable to leave a bad review on the actual product. So, in short, don't take any of the reviews as any kind of indication. I think they're all saturated and none of them mean nothing. Even the real ones, it's too saturated to even take that into account. Oh, and also, as a side note, this doesn't really have anything to do with Temu, but seems though I picked some shoes at random, it just made me think, a little tip that I have, never trust reviews on shoes, because people always review them on when they got delivered and how they look and how comfortable they are, and they always review them within like 1 week of having them. Most of the time, people review them after one use. But when it comes to shoes, you only really know if they're good after about 2 weeks, maybe even a month. When you have running shoes, they start to break down. They all really feel comfortable the first time you use them, the first week you're using them, they all feel great. But it's after like a month goes by when the sole starts peeling off and the shoes start ripping that you realise that maybe they're not so good. So never trust a review on a shoe. Anyway, moving on to the products. This is perfect leeway to go into the next chapter of this video. It's like it was all planned out. It's so smoothly moving from chapter to chapter. We're going to talk about the products, and something that I mentioned before that I told you to remember was the quality of the product. Now we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Do not judge the quality of what you're going to get with the photo. Judge it on what it is with the price. So just to give an example, and I'm scrolling through now looking for some products. Here's one that would make the perfect example we've got. It's a teeth whitening pen. You just draw on your own tooth and it makes it white. Now the photo represents these kind of nasty yellow teeth, which are now suddenly bright white, clearly overly edited, clearly photoshopped. The price of the pen is £1.79. Do not think you're going to get something that's going to make your teeth that white. Do not think you're going to draw on your tooth and it's going to be shining bright like that is. Not for £1.79. You got to think about things. Why do people go through these surgeries to get whiter teeth? Go through all this money, which is to get white teeth, very expensive. We're talking over £1,000 most of the time. When you could just get this pen, which, hey, is so cheap, they can sell it at £1.79 and still make a profit, right? How are they able to make a profit when the price is so low? It's another question people have. And the reason is that the products are cheap to make. They have the buying power to buy in bulk, so they can save money there, but at the end of the day, it's cheaply made products. A pen that whitens your teeth at £1.79, for them to make a profit, that's going to be very cheap to make. And if it's very cheap to make, it's not going to be high quality. Sure, it's going to do something, right? It's going to do something to you, but it's not going to do something like it does in that photo. So just keep that in mind when you're looking through these. Don't be expecting super high quality. Be expecting something that's a little bit cheaper. It's not necessarily a bad thing. There are certain products that they don't need to be expensive. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on throughout this video. But for now, judge the product based on what it is and what the price is. At the end of the day, you pay for what you get. Now, this isn't a whole video on just bashing Temu, which so far it kind of sounds like it is. Like I said in the very beginning, I want to give you all the information I have on it so you can make a decision on whether or not you should be using it, which includes the bad, but it also includes the good. So I'd like to talk about what is good about Temu. Certain products, as I mentioned, I told you we'll swing back to it, we're already swinging back to it, they don't need to be high quality. Temu doesn't just sell clothing stuff and and beauty stuff like we've spoke about so far, it sells a lot of home decor stuff and a lot of household things. Things like sponges, dish sponges. You're not going to need high quality ones. So a low quality sponge isn't going to be something you're going to complain about. It's good for things like that. Those kind of products that we need in life, these essential household essentials, it's really good for saving money on. Think about washing up gloves. The only reason marigolds are so expensive is because the branding is because they've got marigold written on them. But you don't need that. That's not important when you're washing a dish. No one's ever put some gloves on for doing the washing up and thought, God, these are low quality. It's not like you're wearing them going out. You're just trying to keep your hands dry and trying to get a good grip of a plate. Products like that, Temu is perfect for. You don't need the highest quality photo frame, right? It's all about the photo you put in it. Get the photo frames from Temu. LED strip lights, I use those all the time. They don't need to be high quality because you don't even see them when I do put them in videos. I've got none in this video. Hey, I didn't get that bloody banana light of Temu, but maybe I should have. Jokes aside, that's a very good banana light. I'm going to leave a link in the description. It was also very cheap, so you probably could get it on Temu. Maybe I'll check. Do they have it? They do have it on Temu. You can get that light on Temu. How much is it on there? £5. I bought it for 20 quid. Now, that one is probably going to be higher quality than the one you can get off Temu. I'll link it in the description. That's from Amazon. That will work well. Doesn't attach well, but that's nothing to do with the light. That's me using blue tack to put it to the wall. As a word of warning, I would never get anything with chemicals in it. I would never get anything that you put on your face. Things like that brush to make your teeth white. I wouldn't get that. Things that you put in your hair. Anything that you would put like near your eyes. I wouldn't get that off Temu because when we're talking cheaply sourcing chemicals is not something you want to put on your body. But as far as those things that I spoke about, things like household essentials, it's perfect for because you don't need them to be high quality. You don't need to be buying brand name washing up gloves or brand name sponges or the next trending household item you see on TikTok. You don't. You can get away with having the cheaper ones and that's fine. Now, when it comes to clothes, that's a little bit of a tricky subject because I've seen the split. I've seen what people are saying. A lot of people are saying, hey, look how cheap these clothes are. And once again, as everything in this video, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. What I'll focus on is what I'm seeing a lot of the negativity videos are saying is it's fast fashion, right? Which it is. And I thought we had moved on from this fast fashion thing, as in we're not buying into the new companies that, open up. Temu is very much like Shein, except that it sells household decor and it sells things, like jewellery, which I'm sure you can probably get off Shein, but it's more of a home. It's more like Wish than it is Shein, but they still have that clothes aspect, cheap clothes. And the amount of negativity Shein was getting and still gets now, I didn't think it was possible for a new company to come along and do the same thing. Yet here we are with a new company coming along and doing the same thing. And there's a lot that's bad about fast fashion. I'm not going to bore you with it because I'm sure you've heard it before already. Buying into trends, slave labour, the sustainability impact that it has. You've heard about all this. And it's the main focus of these negative videos. But what they're missing out on is something that I would really like to talk about. And it's people who actually need that cheap quality clothing. Because what you'll find with these negative videos is people saying, if you buy cheap clothing, it's not going to last a lifetime and you're going to have to throw it out eventually. And you're just going to have to purchase another item of clothing. You're going to have to purchase it again. Well, what you should be doing is buying high quality clothing that's going to last a lifetime. And what they always neglect to mention is the fact that not everyone can afford that. Like, yeah, in the long run, buying yourself £100 pair of shoes is going to last a lot longer than if you buy yourself a £10 pair of shoes and have to keep buying £10 pairs of shoes every time you rip holes in them and the soles come off. The high quality product will last longer, but not everyone's got the money to drop on that stuff instantly. I come from working class, I grew up on a council estate. So when these kind of companies come up, I always think, there's that part of me that wants to say, just buy high quality stuff. Don't get the low quality things. Buy something high quality that's going to last a lifetime. And then I think about my dear old mother, who's the one who brought my attention to this website in the beginning. I think about all my mum's friends and all the people that I seen growing up, all the people on my estate, and how they got along. And I always think, well, what would they think of it? And I know exactly what they would think of Temu. They would think it is great. I think it's fantastic. These council houses are never nice. They always look the same. Horrible walls. Always got some kind of leakage that the council that never comes round and fixes. Always a hole in the fence that they never come round and fix. Always an issue. All they want to do is put nice things around their house to make it feel more like a home. And they can't afford all the expensive stuff. And I know a lot of people say, well, when you don't have a lot of money, you shouldn't be spending money on doing your house up. You shouldn't be wasting money like this. But it's not always about that. When your Hoover breaks at home, you need a new Hoover. You can't just have a dirty house. Especially if you're someone like a single mother who has 2 children running around traipsing mud throughout the house constantly. You need a Hoover. It's not about, I want the coolest Hoover ever. I want to upgrade my Hoover to something with lights on or to something that I've seen on an advert. It's about, no, I need to clean the house. So when your Hoover breaks, you need to buy a new one. You're not going to go out and buy the high quality thing that's going to last a lifetime. You only have X amount of money and you need most of that money for things like food. So yeah, buying a cheap Hoover might break within 1 month of using it, might end up in a landfill somewhere, bad for the environment, but hey, it's the only thing a lot of people can afford, and it gives them a month in order to save up a bit of money to buy a better one. And when it comes to things like clothes, a lot of people on the outset really like to judge and turn the nose up and say, what a waste of money. Maybe you won't be in this positioning of being on a council estate or being lower income if you spent more of your time investing in assets and spending your money more wisely instead of just buying the next pair of Nike trainers that have come out or the next Adidas tracksuit that looks cool. And it's very easy to judge people when you're not in that situation. But you've got to really think about this from every angle. Clothes, a lot of people say, is this materialistic rubbish. But clothes mean something. They also give a representation of ourselves. And it's nice to feel good about yourself. When you wear bad clothes, hand-me-downs, clothes that you don't really like, it really impacts the way you think about yourself. I'm sure we've all had that feeling before where we've bought something new that we really love the look at. We really love the look of. We put it on and we feel great. We feel amazing. Suddenly we think we look 10 times better. Suddenly we feel more confident. And when you can't afford those high quality brands, getting a knockoff, getting a rip-off version of it, that's the best you can do. And if it makes you feel great about yourself, why shouldn't you do it? And think about the impact of young people, especially women, especially younger girls now, when they go to school and they go out with their friends and they're all wearing this new thing. Trends in fashion, they come thick and fast. There's always something new. And when you're the only one in your group who doesn't have that new shirt or that new style of jeans, you feel like an outsider. And people get bullied about this kind of stuff. So from the perspective of a parent, you want your kids to feel good and you want your kids to fit in. So when there is a new trend and all your kids' friends are buying into it and wearing these new style of jeans and everyone in the school is wearing these new style of jeans, you want your kid to also be able to feel comfortable and also have a pair. You can't always go for the high brand stuff. So a place like Temu is perfect for that. Think about toys. Kids always want more and more toys for Christmas and for birthdays, and as a parent you want to give your kid all these things. It's not always necessarily about the quality, because so what if it breaks in a few months? They're probably only going to play with it for a few weeks anyway and then get bored of it and move on to the next thing. And it's not always about how high quality one item is, because if you've got kids, I'm sure you know exactly how kids are. They don't just want one high quality thing. They want volume. They want quantity. So having a place like Temu where you can get all these stocking fillers at such a cheap price, it's wonderful. Yes, there's this bad impact where it does end up in a landfill somewhere and it's terrible for the environment. But in terms of having your kid fit in and having your kid have a great birthday or a great Christmas, Temu is perfect for that. It's perfect for these people on low income. The problem is, it's people on high income who are just looking for a bargain and buying all the things that they don't need when they can afford the high quality things. However, you can't have the good without the bad, and I've focused a lot on the good there, and I have mentioned the bad with the fast fashion and the sustainability, but there is more bad to it that's really going to impact your decision on whether or not you can use it, and that's the website itself. The way that the website is set out is, the only way I can describe it is being in between a game and a gambling website, right? When you go on the app, and when I first went on it, I was served with this wheel, this beautifully brightly coloured wheel where I got to spin it, and it told me that I can either win free things for free or I'll get to win £100 credit to use on the website. You know, it was very stimulating. And then when you're on the website, and I'm just looking at it, I've got my laptop down here, you've got a big timer at the top. It's clicking down, free shipping. I've got 11 hours to order and I get free shipping. And it's constantly moving down. As I scroll, I've got the chance to win something. I've got the chance to spin the wheel. And if you've been on the app, these things pop up. It's very stimulating. For someone like me, who gets stimulated by all these buttons and bright colours and timers going down, it's easy to fall into the trap of just getting things for the sake of it. A great example is when I did go on the app, I got the option to buy one thing and get 3 things for free. So in my head, I was like, oh, well, I don't need anything, but the chance to get something for free, maybe I should. And I was looking at things like watches, because there was expensive watches that I could get for free. And I was looking at things like clothes, even though I don't need any new clothes right now. And I was looking at things like sunglasses, even though I've got myself some new sunglasses already. Things that I don't need just because I had the chance to get them for free. And that's why it's like a game, because you can win all these different freebies. And it's like a gambling website. The way it's designed, the way it's brightly lit, it's marketing genius. It's not like a e-commerce site at all. It's more like a game website. We got a guy here in the UK called Martin Lewis. He used to run the supermarket compare website. He sold it for a lot of money, and now he just speaks about, he advises people on how to save money. He always says this one thing that's kind of stuck with me throughout time, which he always brings up when it's Black Friday. And he always says, if you buy something at 50% discount that you don't need, then you've lost 100% of your money. And what he means by that is we get suckered into all these deals because something is cheap. And that kind of thinking works perfectly with Temu, because you end up buying things just because they're discounted that you wasn't going to buy anyway. And you'll go around and say, look how much money I've saved. I've saved 200, 300 quid. But then I think, well, how much money have you spent that you wasn't going to spend? I don't think you've saved money. I think you've lost money. And that is the danger of Temu. So think about what kind of person you are and how you're going to use the app. Now, moving on, there is another thing that I was wondering that you might be wondering as well. Like I had mentioned, I thought we was over the whole fast fashion thing. I thought we was over the whole bad for the environment thing. So how did this website grow so big? Like I said, it started in 2022. Here's some statistics for you. Started in 2022, In that same year, the year they launched, they boasted 61 billion annual orders. In their first year, 61 billion orders. There's videos out there, and I'll try and find one to put up where it shows the kind of sorting room in distribution centres and, like the post office. And you can see, because they have this very clear packaging, this orange packaging, and you see how many of them are Temu orders. So they've grown massively. How, in a world where this was not meant to be a thing anymore, has this become such a massive thing? And there are a lot of reasons for this. I'm actually going to do a separate video because this video is already going on a bit long, and I really want to keep this video focused on whether or not you should use it. And I don't think the growth and how they grew has much impact on you making your decision, but it is very important because the way they've gone about it is both genius and evil, how they grew so fast. Just to sum up what that video is going to be, and I'm going to do these at the same time as this video, so if it's not on my channel already, it will be on the channel tomorrow. So if you check out my channel, it'll either be up here somewhere, it'll be at the end of this video, or it'll be on my channel, and if not, just come back tomorrow and it will be there. But to sum up, YouTube influencers evilness. There was a report by the US-China Economic and Security Review Commission, also known as the USCC, that shows that Temu placed more than 8,000 ads across Meta platforms. That's who owns Instagram and Facebook, and that was throughout 2023. And they spent about $14 million, which is about £11.2 million, on 2 adverts during the Super Bowl. But it's the influencer marketing they do that is really helping them grow super quick. And that is what that video is going to be all about, because we're really going to go into depth about whether or not people are selling out in order to sell Temu, and if people are utilizing their audience so they can make a quick buck. So do check that video out. So to tie up this video, the big question amongst all these little questions, which I hope I've answered for you, is whether or not you should be using Temu. And I hope that I've gave enough information around both sides, the good and the bad, for you to be able to decide for yourself whether it's right for you. Like I've been saying throughout this, nothing is all bad and nothing is all good. It's very much dependent on who you are and what you think. If you're the kind of person that has a bigger income and you can afford the high quality stuff, please feel free to go that direction and don't use Temu. You do not need it. Support independent businesses. Don't necessarily go for brand name things, just go for more independent businesses that have to price their products way up because of cost of living and because they're making them more bespoke. Go for those independent businesses. God knows they need it. A lot of people trying to start businesses, a lot of people losing businesses need support. Go for them. If you're the kind of person that just can't afford that stuff, don't worry about the sustainability impact. Don't worry about fast fashion. If Temu is all you can afford and you need it, you go to Temu. You use that. Don't think you're doing a bad thing because you're using it. It's there to be utilised. Get your use out of it. All in all, only you can make that decision, and I would love to know what that decision is. Don't feel bad about it. Are you going to be using it? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Until the next video, it has been a blast. Goodbye.